Hi everyone, I'm Alex. Joining me is Holly, my colleague, and today we're going to discuss customers meetings. So, what are the do's, what are the don'ts when going into a customer meeting?
Awesome, yeah. So at Unearth, we have worked or been in hundreds of meetings between customers and innovators, be that startups or kind of small businesses, and so we've seen it all. We've seen lots of great meetings and we've seen lots of bad meetings. So we wanted to share some of the good and bad things that we've seen over the years.
So the first one being make sure you have an agenda.
Yeah, an agenda is super important, right? Like often we see with these meetings that they're set for only half an hour, 45 minutes. You really want to maximize that time. So make sure that you have an agenda so you really understand what the aim of the meeting is. And I think that's the biggest part of that agenda. What is the goal? What are you trying to achieve? What decision are you trying to make by the end of that meeting? Most of the time in our case, it's about, is it worth taking this relationship forward? Is there a sensible next step for us to pursue?
Yeah. Also, understand what kind of meeting it is, as you said. So if it's a pitch or if it's just a get to know each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Like understanding if it's a pitch or if it's a meeting is really crucial, right? Because we see so many people come into customer meetings thinking it's a pitch and just take up the entire time pitching their company. Most of the time a meeting is actually an opportunity for a conversation where you can learn so much from the customer about how you're going to potentially solve their problem. So really make sure you understand what the format of the meeting is going to be, and ideally it's actually an opportunity for a conversation, not a one-way pitch.
Don't talk about yourself the whole time.
Yeah, well that's the same thing, right? Like often again we see so many people come into meetings and just they have their pitch deck prepared, they know they've got half an hour, they take up the whole half an hour, and there's no time for questions, there's no time for back and forth. So make sure that you're really doing everything you can to learn about the customer and not just talk about yourself.
Keep it to time. We've seen a lot of meetings go overboard, so.
Yes, oh my goodness, this is one of my biggest bugbears and biggest tips as well. So most people obviously understand the importance of being on time to start the meeting, but it's just as important to make sure you close out a meeting on time. Be respectful of people's time and make sure you leave enough time to finish out that agenda. So make sure you have at least 5 to 10 minutes at the end to talk about what are next steps. You don't want to feel rushed through that because it's the most important part.
Indeed. Probably be honest and transparent.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, this comes back to a bit of the pitch mentality that we often see. It's really important when you're engaging with someone that you're a good fit for each other and don't overpromise and don't overstate what you've already done in your product. You know, often customers are more than happy to help you, help collaborate with you and build out a product, but you need to be really honest about where you are in your journey.
Yeah. As well, probably body language, the tone.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully our body language is coming across well in this video, but you do think about your tone, think about being positive, think about how you show up and how you project your voice. Obviously there's most meetings are online these days instead of in person, but you can still portray positive body language and positive tone of voice as well, and also think about how you can match the customer that you're talking to with their body language.
And we've seen teams being prepared before meetings, and I think that's something that we quite enjoy. So do you want to talk about preparation for a meeting, asking more information?
Yeah, definitely. So I think again a little bit does go back to that agenda, but once you understand what the goal of the meeting is, if you don't have information required, feel free to reach out and ask that in advance, even if it's like, hey, we don't have an agenda, should we set one? Or I know we're going to be talking about XYZ, can you give me a little bit more information on that so I can prepare? So definitely these meetings are pretty important a lot of the time in terms of that forward relationship, so the more preparation you can do, the better.
And probably the last one, you mentioned this before, but I think it's really important to understand what you and the customer want to get out from that meeting. What's your goal?
Yeah, absolutely. That is really, really an important one to always come back to. What are you trying to achieve together? And I think really having that in mind of don't come into salesy, just think of it from the angle of actually, are we a good fit for each other, and have the aim of the meeting working out if you're a good fit for each other to move forward with your project.
Definitely. Do you have anything else to add?
Just have fun and enjoy getting to know different people and learning about them and what they're doing in their roles, and we're all trying to do exciting things in our industry and we all care and are passionate, so yeah, it's a good opportunity to meet new people and get engaged.
Definitely. Thank you, Holly.
Thank you, Alex.